are churning through rock.
This week, I'm in a massive tunnel boring machine, 1,000 feet below a mountain range.
This is the loudest, dirtiest, and most dangerous office in the world.
Down here, we face the constant threat of floods
We are covered in water.
and cave-ins.
In case an accident happens, to get one of these on, but don't take it off, because you'll end up dead.
And on top of that, we're mining through a fault line.
The ground shifting? Oh my God.
What have I gotten myself into?
Okay, we gotta go. Okay, take this. No, take the height.
My name is Danny Forster. I learned a lot about engineering in architecture school. But after graduation, I thought it was time to get my hands dirty. So I went looking for tough work. Some things you just can't learn from a book. I'm not sure I knew what I was in for. But I think I'm up for it.
I'm in LA, home of Hollywood, beautiful beaches, and movie stars. I'm not gonna see any of it, because I'm going down into a tunnel.
65 miles east of LA, miners are digging 2 huge tunnels to channel water from the Sacramento Valley to parched Southern California. Without the 500 million gallons a day that will flow through these pipes, millions of faucets will run dry. But here's the catch. The ground is treacherous. The miners are risking their lives, boring the tunnels 1,000 feet under a mountain range in the middle of an earthquake zone, right next to the deadly San Andreas Fault.
And this is it. This is the beginning. This is where the tunnel begins.
This is a self-rescuer.
So this goes over
Yep.
my head?
Yep. In the event of a fire, you'll be told to get one of these on.
Like this?
Yep. It's gonna be dark, smoky. You just get out as fast as possible. When you put this on, it lasts for about an hour. The chemical inside gets very hot, and it goes up to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. It may burn your lips, but don't take it off, because you'll end up dead.
Let's go.
This thing might save me during a fire, but I'm more worried about earthquakes. There are 2 separate tunnels under construction, the east and the west. The east tunnel is ahead of schedule, but the west tunnel has fallen behind, plagued by loose earth, cave-ins, and floods that daily threaten the lives of the 14-man crew. Guess which one I'm going in?
There it is. A 1-mile-long hole shooting straight through a mountain with millions of tons of water pushing on top of it. That's my ride. Say goodbye to the sky.
So I'm going in now. We're heading down 1,000 feet below the surface. It's frankly a little bit more frightening than a typical job site. Cave-ins, floods, running out of air, like it's totally out of your hands.
When completed, this tunnel will deliver 450,000 gallons of water a minute, enough to fill a swimming pool every 3 seconds.
Every foot we get closer, it gets hotter and a little weirder to breathe.
15 minutes later, we arrive at the colossal machine that's actually building the project, the tunnel boring machine. This TBM is an amazing piece of equipment, a massive 550-foot-long mechanical earthworm that uses a 19-foot-tall cutter head to chew through the earth. As the machine grinds forward 5 feet at a time, it simultaneously installs concrete ring segments, leaving a finished tunnel in its wake.
This is the loudest, dirtiest, and most dangerous office in the world.
It's unbelievably noisy in here. It's tight, it's dark, it's really cramped and hard to move. My God. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm Danny.
I'm Jim Autry.
Jim, is this your machine?
Yes?
For 13 years, Jim has dug tunnels all over the world, but none like this.
We're up near a fault line, aren't we? This is sort of a seismic area.
Yes. Probably 3 or 4 of them. We're probably right in the middle of one right now.
We're in the middle of a fault right now?
Yeah, we're probably just leaving the leading edge of it.
It seems like my timing could have been a little bit better. Because it's going to take these guys at least 6 days to shove the entire 550-foot TBM safely past the danger zone. And that's only possible if they can meet or break their own record for tunneling speed. Here's what they're up against. These fault lines are riddled with hazardous pockets of loose earth and pressurized groundwater. Tunneling into this stuff could destroy the TBM and wipe out the crew.
So basically, water is the enemy.
Water is the enemy.
We are battling water.
Yes.
The drill is ready.
For the moment, all mining has stopped.
Always ready.
Everyone is concerned about the ground conditions ahead. So before they mine, they send in something called a probe drill.
Them guys are up there drilling right now.
We get in there?
Sure, let's go. Yeah, come on. Watch your step.
Yeah.
How are we doing, Al?
Nick is the eyes and ears of the TBM.
So right now, you're drilling in front of the face of the TBM.
Correct.
Why are we doing that?
This is letting us know what's ahead of the machine and basically letting us know what kind of ground's out there before we mine into it.
You're blind, so you should have. This is how you see what's in front of you.
Right.
Nick sends a probe drill 100 feet in front of the TBM, essentially feeling the condition of the earth ahead, the way a blind person uses a cane.
Nick is going to control this. This Al is the chuck tender. That means he's going to help get 110 feet of steel out, drill a hole and find out if it's good soil, hard soil, water, whatever. This thing is the way the TBM can see what's in front of it.
All right. That will work, Al. Let's go ahead and drill. We'll lock the jaws here.
Lock the jaws.
Right there.
I cannot tell you how loud it is. When that thing's coming out, it's not just loud, the entire TBM starts shaking.
Definitely one earplug.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. I can feel my spleen vibrating right now.
Coming out.
The crew wait for word from Nick and Tommy.
So how's our condition? What do you know from what we got so far?
Right now, our conditions are really good. We've got good ground, very little water. It's looking real good. So we can start drilling out ahead of us.
Now that Nick has given us the all clear, they can fire up the cutter head and start mining.
So this is the very front of the TBM.
Not yet.
Not yet?
We're not there yet. We're not far from it, though. Watch your step.
The front of the TBM is where the cutter head actually grinds up the earth. I am approaching the literal ground zero of the mining operation.
This 3-inch steel wall is called the bulkhead. It is the final threshold between us on the TBM and the cutter head behind me. When that cutter head is spinning and they're mining through soil, this solid steel door is shut, closed, locked tight. Because if anything comes in behind that cutter head, water, loose soil, a cave-in, we are protected. What's about to happen right now is that we are gonna spin the cutter head, push the TBM forward, and mine with the door open. We're gonna do it only for a second so we can actually see what this thing looks like when it's actually boring through the surface, through the soil.
Paul, break her up.
Here we go. Here we go. This is a TBM mining earth. This is real. We are pushing forward, carving up real earth right now. This is something you have never seen.
You're in bad ground. You always want the door shut.
If muck did come through, what do we do?
Evacuate and shut the door.
And run.
Till now, this rock, 1,000 feet under a mountain, has never been seen by human eyes.
Never before touched ground, these wheels just rolling over it, crushing it. Look at those wheels. Tommy, that is off the hook. I've never seen anything like that before. I'm about to do something that I'm not so sure about. I'm about to go into the cutting head. Want to hang on to this? This is it. I'm now inside the cutting head. They just stopped cutting, and it is hot and humid. You can barely see, and there, look, this is it. This is what they're grinding. This is what the TBM is making. These are the cutting, ow, geez, we're still hot. These are the cutting wheels right here. As this whole face rotates, it's this wheel that rolls over the rock and crushes the stone in front of the TBM. Just 1 hour ago, where I am standing was solid rock.
In here, nothing is holding back the sides of the freshly dug tunnel. If there were a pocket of groundwater on the other side, it could burst in and flood the TBM.
We are in a seismic zone. The San Bernardino Mountains are above us. There are fault lines everywhere. We have just mined through this, so it's solid right now, but we actually don't know what the ground conditions are.
One thing you gotta watch out for up inside the cutter head is the hazard of running ground. If the ground will not support itself, it'll start pouring through the cutter head. You'd leave right away. You wouldn't worry about your camera, you wouldn't worry about the lights, you would get out.
Danny Sayer's been on the job for 26 years. When he speaks, you listen.
It's just the ground check.
The ground shifting? Okay, that is, gotta go? Gotta go, okay, we gotta go. Okay, take this, no, take the light.
You're all right, I'm just
Oh, you Danny, you just scared the out of me.
It's dark in here right now.
Okay, I gotta take the light back.
Oh, okay.
Is everyone clear? We're all out of there?
All right, Pons, let it close that.
Note to self, keep an eye on Danny Sayer.
You know, I had my daughter in there, right? When I scared her the same way, she didn't scream anywhere near as bad as you.
Danny's daughter is 7 years old.
Of all the job sites I've been on, this is by far the nuttiest. Once we close the door,
But before I can even think about payback, it's time to close the bulkhead door and start mining again.
that's the only thing keeping us from the cutter head and water and soil from caving in.
But Danny's not done with me yet.
Pull hard.
I'm pulling.
Come on now.
I'm pushing. Yep, I got it.
Whole crew's waiting on you.
I'm going, Danny, I'm going.
Yeah. Put the bottom one, put a bolt in.
Oh my God. All right,
You done yet?
almost.
Put a bolt in yet?
No.
Then you're not almost done.
Is that it? Good. This is mining right now, it's mining, they just started. The minute we sealed that door, put the bolt in, they started mining.
With the TBM on the move, the crew gets down to business, beginning their push through the fault zone and installing concrete tunnel rings as they go.
This is one of the concrete segments, one of 5 that it takes to build one of the rings.
Each concrete ring segment weighs up to 8,000 pounds. So how do the miners lift these things up? With suction. This, my friends, is a vacuum hoist.
We got vacuum suction. Vacuum out. We got the green light, so now we can come up.
I'll bring it up.
Here it comes. Look at this, 8,000 pounds right here. Look at this. This segment right here is floating right now, attached to the hoist purely by suction.
This releases the vacuum. These two right here.
Those are the vacuum switches?
Yeah, these two right here.
And that?
Emergency stop. Yeah.
If that vacuum were to turn off, this thing would come crashing down.
The hoist carries each segment to the vacuum erector. As the TBM inches through the mountain, the vacuum erector lines the tunnel walls with the heavy ring segments.
The whole erector moves forward and backward and can rotate pieces 360 degrees around.
All 6 segments have to fit perfectly.
I think I get it really flush.
Doing that takes some serious hand-eye coordination. Tommy and Jimmy stay in constant communication.
Coming around!
Red blue! Light push!
Okay, it's all you, Jimmy. I can't see it. Tommy's now doing this blind. Look at that. Look how tight it is. Look how perfectly this thing fits.
Roll blue! Hey, coming out!
So now we're gonna bolt this ring to that new segment.
At least I think I am.
No? And by bolted in, I mean I'm gonna fail, and he's gonna do it.
The record for this crew is 6 rings in one shift. But this, their 4th, is the last one for the day.
That's it? The ring is done, huh? Number 1,447. How many more to go?
Lots. About 3 more miles.
5 feet done, couple more miles to go.
Though the 6-ring goal has eluded them, the West Tunnel crew is determined to give it their all tomorrow.
This is our ride out.
After all, the more rings they put up each day, the sooner they'll get through the fault zone. Meanwhile, for the crew in the East Tunnel, 6 rings per shift is average. In fact, the East Tunnel, called Strawberry, is 3 miles further along than the West Tunnel. What's their secret? Time to do a little bit of investigating. Delivery boy style.
Well, it's certainly one of the weirder things I've ever done. I got about 8 pizzas here. Now I'm gonna hop on a little train to bring lunch.
Since the East Tunnel is already 4.5 miles into the mountain, it takes over half an hour to reach this TBM.
This is not like delivering a pizza to an apartment building. Want some pizza?
I gotta get this impact back. I'll get it later.
Hungry? Yeah. All right, good.
The East Tunnel crew is moving, and I just seem to be in the way.
You guys get a break to eat or something? Is there lunchtime down here?
See, when the machine is running, you can stop. You have to keep going.
There's no whistle, break, 15 minutes, nothing? This is nuts around here. I came here, bought a bunch of pizzas for lunch, and no one has stopped. When they're building rings, they're going. I tried to give them a break, no break from 7 till 3, straight through. The Strawberry Tunnel on the east side has 3,155 rings. That's more than twice that they have over on the west side. Now, it is not that anyone is a better miner. They're all amazing. It's all about the soil. These guys have less water, they do more mining. Those guys have more water, it goes much more slowly. Hey, look at that! They liked it! They ate my pizza! I knew it! If you want to learn more about this project or me, check out our website!
It's early morning, and I'm back at the West Tunnel. But before I head in, there's one thing I gotta do.
I'll crash in.
And why do we do this?
It gives a head count of who's in the tunnel in case an accident happens, so we can get them out.
So in the case of a cave-in, you know that I'm now number 176, and I'm going into the tunnel.
Exactly.
The deeper I go inside the tunnel, the more I feel something in the air. Moisture, and a lot of it.
It's incredibly humid down here, especially when they start mining.
Close to the front of the TBM, something's not right.
Make sure all your rims are off! We can't get a reading!
All right, we gotta get to the other side. Something's happening. They're gonna start moving. We're in their way. We gotta go.
Now I see what's wrong.
Easy, James!
There's water everywhere.
Turn the water on, see what happens.
And if the crew can't stop it from coming in, they can't continue mining.
This is what happens when you hit wet soil. Not just solid rock. It's a lot of water. This is not what tunnelers want.
This is how a deadly flood begins.
What do you think?
I think we're gonna have to put the pump in.
Put the pump?
Yeah.
Too much water?
Poncho! Let me have the pump!
You gotta pump that water out before we can start mining again. This is just one of the realities of tunneling through really difficult soil conditions. Back to the cutter head. Hang on. Okay.
All right.
So James, you're now in the bottom of the cutter head, and it looks like there's a couple of feet of water down there that we took on during the last mining cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. See, he's sucking all the water out.
This is not the type of day James wants to have.
George there?
It is so hot in there.
While James continues pumping out the cutter head, I go help the rest of the crew ward off incoming groundwater.
Up here?
Step over the bridge, big hole
Rooster, can I be up there?
Rooster keeps the tunnel dry.
So all that water coming out right now, that's just from the soil?
Yeah, it's just draining out of the ground right there, right now.
This is what's pushing on top of us right now.
Once enough water is drained, the crew pumps quick hardening grout all around the tunnel and TBM. This creates solid man-made rock for the machine to mine through, and pushes the groundwater away from the tunnel and the cutter head.
That's it, that's the grout? All right. Oh! All right, so hooking up the grout hose.
Hey, Nacho!
All right, Rooster, pump it out.
Good.
So now we're sending grout into the wall, affixing this ring to the soil.
Pumping about 65 liters a minute right now into the ground. Okay, shut it up, Nacho. Well,
This is the accelerator. This is the stuff that we pump in to make the grout harden immediately.
it burns your eyes good, too.
Huh?
It burns your eyes good, too.
Burns your eyes?
Oh, yeah.
As if flooding and earthquakes weren't enough.
That's it, Rooster.
Close the ground off.
Close the ground.
And with that,
This tunnel is now a permanent part of the earth.
Day 3 at the West Tunnel, and the morning shift is in high spirits. The TBM has been making progress through the fault line, and the guys are ready to get mining.
I'm exhausted because I got up at 4 a.m. to be here to go down with the guys with the first shift. We going in? I hear we're throwing up some rings this morning, huh?
We are. Hopefully we get 6.
6 rings?
We're gonna go for what we can get, but we're gonna get what we can.
Everybody in. Hey, Josh.
But as soon as we reach the TBM,
What's going on?
there's another crisis.
Looks like the morning's starting off a little more complicated than we had thought. We hoped to just start mining, but it looks as though they got a busted water line. Is that it right there? The busted line?
Yeah.
Can you show me?
This problem is serious. One of the TBM's vital supply chains has been severed.
That's it right there?
The ability to mine and survive this far underground depends on making an unbroken link to the surface. Pipes carrying grout, fresh air, and water.
So they found where the busted water pipe is. It's all the way back there and Tommy's working on it. And we can do nothing until that pipe is fixed, so there's no mining and no drilling right now. The TBM is dead in its tracks. I'm gonna go in there and see what's actually going on.
It's hot, it's wet, and it is unbelievably cramped down here. I seriously do not know how these guys do it.
So, Denny, explain to me exactly what's going on with this water pipe.
The high pressure water system, the feed line to the front of the TBM has ruptured a hole in it. So all we're gonna do is bypass it with a new hose.
Basically, get it up as quickly as possible, get back to mining.
That's correct. Hurry, go, get it fixed, get mining.
Denny, tell me a little bit about just generally working in these confined spaces.
If you're claustrophobic, it's not for you.
I'm gonna get out of here because this is insane. You see very quickly that all available room runs out very fast. There's thousands of miles of wire and cable right here, and just one went down, and this whole thing has stopped. That's the new hose, and we need to install it into this piece right here on that gasket.
Get some alligator clips for them clamps.
Danny, this is gonna have to go over here.
You wanna go behind here?
Got it? There you go.
We have the hose in place. I think I now need to find a connector gasket to make the replacement piece connect to the old piece. And maybe, crisis averted, we'll get back to tunneling.
Hey, we get them guys down here and start mining.
I'm in the LA water tunnel, 1,000 feet below the San Bernardino Mountains, where the TBM is in its 3rd day of struggling to clear a fault line. The more tunnel rings we install, the closer we are to getting out of the danger zone.
Train's coming.
The crew waits for the ring segments to arrive.
See the blinking light coming down the rail? See it? Here it comes.
What are you, a hawk?
That's down there half a mile. Here it comes.
All right, out of the way.
Jim clears a path for the incoming train.
All right. This is the train coming in right here. This has all of the reinforcements. It has the concrete segments that we need to build rings. It has the grout we need to backfill. Once this train hits, everything starts. Here it comes. So are we giving the green light right now?
I got a green light right now.
That's it? Let's go.
Now that the segments have arrived, the crew can finally start building rings and mine further through the fault zone.
Ready, Tommy? Power up. Back here.
The mining train, called a Loki, is the TBM's lifeline. Of all the supplies the Loki brings into the tunnel, the most critical is the fresh air vent. For every 40 feet the TBM advances, a new segment must be installed.
See this thing right here? This is why I'm not dead. This is the ventilation pipe that is blowing air into this tunnel 1 mile from the surface, keeping all of us alive. I love my air pipe.
Every piece of ventilation pipe is custom built right here.
So this pipe right here is the stuff that delivers oxygen from all the way out here, 1 mile down underground to the guys in the tunnel.
Emmett is the man in charge.
Emmett?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
I'm Danny.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. You run this yard here?
Mm-hmm.
Can you show me how to make some of this ventilation pipe?
Easy as pie. Come along. This starts the machine up.
Uh-huh.
We begin with a spool of sheet metal.
So the spool is paying out right now and feeding the steel up onto the ironing board, sliding over here and then going into the machine.
The machine then makes the tube out of the steel like rolling a giant cigar.
And you see right here, this thing is turning. Can I touch it?
Nope.
No. All right.
That is extremely sharp. That'll cut your hand clear off in a heartbeat. There's a lot of moving machinery here. If you get caught up in it, you want to stop this thing in a big hurry. That's why you shouldn't touch it at all. These two buttons, those are emergency stop switches.
So if I get caught up in it, will I be able to press the button?
Probably not.
Sounds like an incredibly useful button, Emmett. It's just growing ever so slowly.
As soon as that alarm clock there on the other end falls over, you know you're at 40 feet.
When that thing gets knocked over? Oh, down.
After the 40-foot length of pipe is complete, we add a coupler ring.
And this allows one to connect to the next one?
Connect to the next one.
Okay, got it.
Right there.
Right there, okay. Use the legs, put your back into it, don't look silly.
Push hard.
Come on. Get there. Why are you mocking me, Screw? Come on. Let me hear it.
Beautiful. Just the way it's supposed to be done, right there.
I think Emmett's starting to loosen up a bit.
Emmett, do you ever think of yourself as kind of like a chef, making food for the TBM?
I guess you could call it that.
Emmett, man of few words. If you want to learn more about this project, check out our website. Emmett, do you have a computer? Are you going to check the website? Emmett won't, but you should.
Back at the West Tunnel, the TBM's progress through the fault line has been slow, but it has mined far enough to need a new piece of air pipe. Good thing I just happened to make one. And not only air, but miles of power and water lines also connect to the surface.
Yeah, this TBM, it needs constant supplies. You gotta feed it with fresh air, water, compressed air, rail, everything. If you screw up and forget one of them, you're gonna end up stopped waiting on it. It's a long trip outside.
Now that we're moving forward again, I need to help Danny extend the water line.
These hoses reel in and out. It feeds the hose out. Then when you're ready to add hard line, you roll up your hose. They call it a drag hose. Put in a hard line and then start that cycle all over again.
Now we just need to tighten this fitting.
What you got for me, Danny?
You know, this job might be easier with the correct tool. course, there wouldn't be any supplies if the mining train couldn't reach the TBM.
So it's the end of the line. They ran out of railroad tracks, so what do? You build more track.
The crew works quickly to add a new piece of track, but they hit a snag.
This is a different rail than we're used to. We run out of the old rail. We gotta adjust to fix it. Let me see this.
The TBM supply chain is cut off, and production halts yet again. At this rate, we're never gonna make it through this fault line.
Ain't no sense beating and banging.
And Slim has had enough.
Hold on a minute. You get your hole in there? No. All right, you get James down here with torch. Burn your hose. Let's get it together.
Down here, you gotta know how to improvise. A few expert welds later, and this train is a rolling.
Crank her up.
And so is the TBM.
Oh my God, look at this. You can see it. Look. We're moving.
Seriously.
Can you see that? We're moving.
Okay, we're moving slowly, but we are moving.
I mean, we're just inching forward, but right now, we are churning through rock.
And now that I think about it, who's driving this thing?
This thing is tiny.
It's pretty small, but it fits one operator.
You. And what's your name?
George.
George what?
George Galugaru.
We'll go with George.
George, yeah.
The tunnel boring machine is not just a big cylinder pushing through a mountain. George actually has an amazing amount of control. Check this out. This circle right here is the cutting machine. And these 11 smaller circles represent those big steel pistons and rams that push the face. George, by turning these dials, can control exactly how much force he's applying to these 4 quadrants. More in one quadrant, less in another, and modulate exactly how the TBM is carving through the earth. It's worth mentioning, George, that this is the size of a coffin.
I'd say a phone booth.
Phone booth is better, yeah. We won't say coffin, that's a bad word. Phone booth.
Good news is, the mining train is back on track. Once again, transporting ring segments to the crew. The bad news is, they are not gonna match their 6-ring record today. There is still a long way to go. The Inland Feeder Tunnel project has over 8,400 rings. That's over 50,000 segments. And they make them all here in Little Rock, California, on a 30-acre site 50 miles from the tunnels. Every time the TBM mines another 5 feet, you gotta build a ring. This is where they do it. Hey fellas, I'm Danny.
I'm doing Danny. Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Perfecto.
Perfecto. We're gonna build a ring?
Yes, we are.
It all begins with the rebar cage. This is what gives the ring its tensile strength.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna move it into a mold in which concrete will be poured.
Come over here. You push this button. See?
Now the whole thing's sitting on like a...
On a turntable. We call this a turntable.
You could DJ with this a little bit? Oh,
Yeah.
stops in this place right there.
That's in this place. Now we're gonna hook it up.
Okay. So Perfecto, who's that man right there helping us out?
That's my brother.
That's your brother?
That's my brother. I'm the oldest. Jim is the youngest.
Did you, as a kid?
Yeah, sometimes.
A little bit.
When he got out of hand.
Still here.
You still here? Guiding the rebar into the mold is trickier than it looks. Alright, so bring it down. Sorry. My bad, Jimmy. Sorry, I'm on it. I'm with it. I'm on it now.
Now we close the mold.
Now we close the doors. Oh.
Little heavy.
Yeah. Okay. The mold is sealed. The doors are shut.
Now we're ready to make some mud.
All right, here it comes. This is a hopper full of mud. So all that noise you hear is the mold is being vibrated. So as the 8,000 pounds of concrete hits it, it gets aerated. All the air bubbles get out. Now the mold is ready for finishing. Perfecto, who's this man right here?
This is my finisher, my brother.
This is another brother.
Another brother.
This is Bobby.
Bobby.
Perfecto, how many other brothers work here?
Just them two.
Just them two.
That's it.
That's plenty of brothers to help me smooth out the concrete.
A little bit faster.
Cure it, then stick it in the oven. A few hours later,
There it is.
There's the finished product.
There it is. Smooth, clean, and hot. You can actually feel this thing is still hot while it's curing. I just made that.
one ring segment done, thousands more to go. 182 trillion gallons of water will pass through the Arrowhead Tunnel every year. Back in the West Tunnel, the crew is finally on the brink of clearing the fault line that has plagued them for days.
Time to go to work.
But in order to do it, the crew will have to put up more tunnel rings than they've been able to do in months.
So we're all going in there hoping to build rings. The record is 6 rings.
But since we are still mining through dangerous ground, it is not going to be easy.
Usually through earthquake faults like we've been going through here for about the last quarter mile or so, it just starts putting a wrench in the whole system.
We got, I think, 26 fault zones that we go through on this whole project.
26?
Yes.
For these guys, mining through fault lines is just part of the job. But it's a point of pride among tunnel miners to put up as many rings as they can in a given shift.
Tommy, where's the first piece going?
Right down the very bottom.
Right down very bottom.
Hey, watch your rector.
Here we go.
One down. That's 2.
Hey, look over there.
4 hours into the shift, and we have just put in the 3rd ring.
Tommy, you just got, what, number 4 ring in for the day?
Number 4 ring.
So what does that mean for the whole day?
That means we're doing good on time. We got our 5th train coming in now. We got 3 more hours to get 2 more rings, and we tie the record.
Then suddenly,
What's happening? I don't know exactly what happened.
the TBM grinds to a halt. The wheels in the cutter head have become clogged with muck. It's up to James to fix it.
Bad boys are all covered up.
Hang on, I'm gonna come in there. Okay. James is now climbing like Spider-Man up to the top of the cutter head to check each of these wheels to make sure they haven't been damaged during the previous mining cycle. He's taking off the muck, uncovering the wheels, and making sure each one is still okay and ready to begin the next cycle. I'm gonna go up there with him.
The end of the shift is approaching fast.
Just trying to find something to grab onto.
You know, everything is right now. You know, I ain't got no time for running back at the toolbox. So.
James unclogs the cutter wheels as quickly as he can. But before he gives the go-ahead to resume mining, we need to clear out the muck that's collected in the bottom of the cutter head.
All right, we're turning it on. Here we go. All right, fire up the auger. We're doing it. All right, this is the auger. There it is. You can see it. It's like a gigantic corkscrew.
As the TBM's cutter head rotates, it pulverizes rock before it, turning it into something they call muck. The auger then pulls that muck away and prevents the cutter head from getting clogged up.
James, if I fall in there, what happens?
You be no more.
Crank her up.
At last, they rev up the cutter head and start mining. The crew has less than 2 rings to go, but there's only an hour left in the shift. One last ring, and the shift is over.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
After battling groundwater and mechanical failure, the West Tunnel has finally cleared the fault line. But there's another reason to celebrate.
Tommy, tell him what we did. How many? How many? 6. Give it up now, give it up now, 6 rigs.
Just sometimes it all comes together. What really pulled this good shift off was the guys in the hole. And better than the 6 sets, mining on 7, no accidents. Not a bump, not a bruise. It all worked out real well today.
This is a very different kind of life. It's a dangerous life. It's different from a regular construction job.
Heavy construction in a closet. This type of work, you almost have to enjoy it or you don't stay.
It takes a certain type of people to do it, and like he says, you gotta like it, or else you won't be in it long.
When this project is done, these 12 miles of tunnels will bring fresh drinking water to the 18 million residents of Southern California. Until then, these guys will be inching through the mountains, one ring at a time.
Thank you.
Care,
seriously.
all right.
Thanks. Seriously, Thomas.
Yeah.
Hey! Thanks, buddy.
It's just been awesome to be down with him.
Final step. I'm out.
Há 4.500 milhões de anos, um planeta se formou. E continua se formando. Descubra. E experimente. Como funciona a Terra. Todos os sábados. No Discovery HD Theater. Começaremos esta viagem pelo mundo, pela Cidade do Cabo, com uma vista espetacular da Montanha da Mesa. A montanha, com 3.000 metros de largura e 1.000 acima do nível do mar, se impõe sobre a cidade. Seu nome foi dado por Antônio de Saldanha, o primeiro europeu a navegar pela Bahia em 1503. Agora estamos sobre Menorca, uma das principais ilhas baleares, na Espanha. A sua população permanente é de uns 95 mil habitantes, mas aumenta muito durante o verão, com milhares de turistas lotando os resorts. Menorca tem um histórico de invasões. A Inglaterra, interessada na importância estratégica do porto, ganhou e perdeu a ilha diversas vezes durante o século XVIII. Os romanos também perceberam a importância do porto, por isso se apoderaram da ilha em 121 a.C. Agora, na Alemanha, o castelo de Neuschwanstein foi construído em 1864 para o rei Ludwig, que era obcecado pelas óperas de Wagner. Na verdade, o castelo é uma interpretação de uma das obras mais famosas do músico. Apesar de Ludwig ter sido declarado louco, nos deixou essa obra maravilhosa, inspiração para o Castelo da Bela Adormecida, na Disneylândia. Finalmente sobrevoamos Portugal, país que ocupa apenas 1/6 da Península Ibérica, cuja fronteira com a Espanha permaneceu quase inalterada por mais de 800 anos. Aqui, as paisagens escarpadas do norte fazem de Portugal um dos lugares menos explorados da Europa Ocidental. Discovery HD Theater. Uma visão do mundo que nos rodeia. Para descobrir a vida em todo o seu esplendor, com a verdadeira alta definição e sem intervalos comerciais. Paisagens incríveis. Histórias surpreendentes. Em todas as partes do mundo. Discovery HD Theater. Porque cada detalhe conta.
Happiness starts with a